So, once upon a time, during this thing that happened that caused everybody to not go anywhere and stay at home and read and bake bread and do Zoom meetings, I chose to put on my Rift S VR headset and escape the four walls into things like Fallout 4 and Skyrim and Serious Sam, a lot of Serious Sam. But games weren't the only thing that I did in VR. I also did some creating using that headset. Kind of my thing. And I did that creating in something known as Horizon Worlds, which I downloaded as soon as it was available. What did I create? Well, who hasn't ever wanted to have their own park or theme park? The first thing I did was start to build my own park. I didn't really have much of a direction in mind. I kind of wanted to make it something natural and something that people could come to and socialize in and explore and just have some fun. So, let's go to the park. Alright, so this is currently what you're met with when you come into Horizon Worlds, a big city. Now over here, you can see, made my avatar look, as much like myself as I could. But what we're here to see is the park. So let's go here. And you can see I have 3 project files. Intro. And this was the original world that I made, but I couldn't get it to load, so I cloned it. And that one worked, so let's go there. So the first thing you're met with is this tunnel, which is meant to represent what you would go through at a theme park, going from like the parking lot or the ticket booth turnstiles and into the park. And here we go. This place is meant to be a, as you can see, very low poly place to explore, play, socialize, respect others, and have fun. So it's low poly because when this game first came out, there wasn't a whole lot available. It's changed quite a bit since then, and there are much better looking assets. I'm keeping this as is because I can pack a lot more features in and have a lot of fun. So, like I said, this is unfinished. There's still a lot. You can see there's a mountain missing over there. But we got the tower jump, which is that thing right there. That's unfinished. There's an amphitheater, paddleball courts, horseshoe pits, Seagull Falls is that way. And then there's a carousel, and there's some other stuff that's not on this signpost here. So let's go exploring and find out what those things are. First off, we got a nice little fountain right here. And you come into the park. Everything here, for the most part, is built from scratch with basic shapes, cylinder and a sphere painted the right way, look like reeds. Got some flowing water and trees and rocks and Titanus guy on the side of the tower there. Oh, and check this out. For some reason, the audio is not working in here. There's supposed to be a little kind of thing, glowy kind of sound going in here, but a little place to hang out and socialize. And if we go back to the sidewalk over here, it takes us towards Seagull Falls. I was working with a lot of basic kind of concepts and whatnot and tried to be a little creative. I think that's actually smoke, but it's waterfall mist. Because I said so. And then you come in and check it out, ladies and gentlemen. The backside of water. See lots of little places to explore. Go up here. There's a little tunnel. Up the log. Oh, back inside. And that's where we just went. Continue on. There's another little cavern corridor here. Not cavern, corridor. It leads upward. These things are kind of fun. I wanted to make these little kind of glowy crystal kind of sconces to light your way through the dark tunnel. I think I need to put more out here though. So you kind of make your way up here and through the hollow log up to the top of Seagull Falls, where there's a campfire to hang out. Probably put some other stuff up here at some point. A zip line that doesn't work. And, of course, a seagull. What's a Seagull Falls without a seagull, right? Yeah. Good boy. So from up here you can kind of see the horseshoe pits over there. And then the paddleball courts, or you can kind of see a little blue right there. Not the arch, but like below them, that's where those are. And then there's a lot of other little stuff to explore. I could take the zip line down, but it doesn't work, so we're just going to jump. Don't recommend trying this in real life. And this is the other entrance to the big cavern. You come out this side. And over here, there's a little unfinished spot. Not sure, this will be a cool little spot for a hangout. And then if you follow the sidewalk around, there's a couple of titans holding up a massive tree trunk. Now, if you take this path and you follow it along, you find the first ride that I put in. And that's this kind of swan boat carousel. There are assets to this game which you can download and put in, but this is one that I made from scratch with basic shapes to make the swans. And then kind of make these glowing shapes in the center. Put them all on this carousel and use scripting to make it rotate, and there is a little bit of music that you can hear. Something you can hear kind of like when you're in the vicinity of this carousel. Kind of relaxing. But if you move on, there's a Ferris wheel right here. This is one of the assets that I downloaded and did not make this from scratch. You walk up, it starts going on its own, and check this out. There's a trigger there that causes a duck to quack, or some kind of bird. But you can just ride this thing up. You can see, as part of the unfinished status of this park, there is one of the gondolas sitting right there in midair. And as you can see, there is a roller coaster over there. We're going to get to that next. Initially, this was going to be more of a relaxed kind of park, but I decided, hey, I'm going to put some rides in because rides are fun. And quack. Alright, so here is a roller coaster that I built, unfinished, and it's, I've got a car sitting up there, and I'm actually not sure how to program this thing. I probably should fix that too. along with a lot of other things in the track. But yeah, this is the roller coaster that I built. Don't know how to script or program the cars to get them to do what roller coaster cars and trains do, but the entire thing exists right now. Let's all go take a look at it. So here's the entrance. You can see part of the track winds through here. This is not to the scale that a real roller coaster would be built. There are safety hazards everywhere. Plus, this doesn't look that great. So, the boarding area is somewhere in here. And you come through here, this first little cavern. It's hard to run on this track. Over the where the entrance is. And then you exit the cave, make a left turn, and then you head up the lift hill. Right past this first Titan right here. Oops, I fell through. No worries. We're going to jump right back on. I'm taking the stairs because that's the safe way to get up here. Then we'll get to the dangerous part. So you get to the top of the lift hill and you get a nice view of everything up here for a second before heading down this way around the side of the tower. Another turn past the second Titan who's holding up the track. Up around this curve. Not the easiest to run on. Then up over, and this Titan, the first Titan, right down where he's holding the track. And that's a pretty steep drop. Then it goes up through that. There's a vertical loop there. Then it goes up over, vertical hairpin kind of turn there. Then comes around and goes down right here underneath the lift hill. Then it comes back into here after you come back in from the outside. Does a little spiral inside the cave and then back to the station. If this were an actual real roller coaster, 10 out of 10 would totally ride. I currently don't have an exit for it, so we're just going to drop out of here. And there you go. That's the coaster, currently unnamed. And let's go check out the tower. A lot of unfinished features. Currently a work in progress. So this is meant to be either a ride or more likely just a thing that you climb to the top and jump out of. You can fall from any height in here and survive. Fact. Yeah, just check this out. Insert Wilhelm scream here, and I'm fine. No broken bones. I don't even have legs. Good to go. So if you leave the courtyard here, you can come down, and there's another little area that's back in here. I'll show you real quick. Currently unfinished and unrealized at the moment, but another little hidden spot. Now, let's go check out what I'm hoping will be a major feature of this park if I ever get it running. But it's back over that way. Other side of the coaster. Boingy, 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 boingy. Cutting across the grass, cutting across the grass, cutting across the grass. Oh yeah, that's meant to be another entrance to another land over there. We'll see if that happens. So if you come past the coaster, you arrive upon the amphitheater, which I'm hoping there will be the opportunity to do perhaps live performances from this, offer people a chance to get on the stage there and perform. Who knows? We shall see. Again, everything designed, from scratch with basic shapes. They do virtual concerts in this game, but I'm not sure they're quite like this all the time. I think normally it's just a bunch of virtual reality concerts, 3D videos, 360 videos. So if you leave the amphitheater, here's kind of the recreational area. Got paddleball courts and horseshoes over there. I'm not quite sure on the physics of some of this stuff, but I grabbed it. There we go. Let's grab the ball and yeah, because you can hit the ball really far and it's going to go off the edge. There it goes. Bye. So I think I'm going to have to enclose these courts if they're either that or figure out the physics behind these lollipops. Blue versus red. And here we have horseshoes, once again, made with basic shapes. And then you just kind of just as difficult as it is in real life, right? Oh yeah, I forgot I put her in here. I was browsing through the public asset library and they had people in there, so I grabbed one, dropped her in her, and I don't know what to do with her now. Maybe I'll have her run the roller coaster. And making the full loop, we come around to Herons, which is named after the birds that we see at SeaWorld, and the Southern California coast. And currently unfinished, a giant air hockey table, giant shuffleboard table. At least I think it's shuffleboard. And a pool table that does not have interactive capabilities. Just for show. Meant to be like kind of a little club here near the entrance of the park. Again, for hanging out and socializing and whatnot. So, how did I make this? Well, if I go into the edit mode, here's the park in the edit mode. You can see there's script for the water, there's script for the audio, there's script for audio and the water and the clouds, the waterfall spray there. See, there's supposed to be audio coming from here, but it's not working. I still need to diagnose that. Then if I come over here, there's the carousel, there's the script, and there's all the commands inside the script. So, no errors. It works. Took me a little bit of time to figure out how to get it to work properly, but there it is. And again, this was already scripted when I got it, so it already knew how to rotate and do what it does. I did clone a couple of the gondolas and put them out for display. But this one's not even supposed to be there, so I'm going to go ahead and grab it, and then bye-bye.
So, here is the roller coaster, currently, like I said, unfinished. We'll see if I figure out how to get it to work properly, or at all. And if you haven't been noticing, this is kind of a cool little interface. If I take my two controllers and use the grips to grab, I can take the entire map, the entire world, and decrease and increase scale just by pulling my hands apart and together. Really handy in editing and putting stuff around. You can move around the map very quickly. And as far as assets go, they'll come from here. You got basic shapes you can work with, which I did pretty much all of this, you know. And then there's gizmos, which there's a bunch of different stuff you can use. It's a lot of scripting and whatnot. There's sounds, more script, you know, modules, background effects, music, colliders. And then if you go to the assets, again, see what they got here. They got all kinds of stuff. I haven't used a whole lot of this stuff. They do have games in here, which I'm hoping to incorporate at some point. Again, this is all if I get time. There's some fair rides there, not the ones I put in, but stuff available to use in whatever your heart's desire. There are literally limitless possibilities. They've kind of shifted to the mobile platform rather than VR, but as long as it's still here and not going away, I'll continue to do this when I have time, and eventually it'll be made public. Currently it's a private work in progress. When it's ready for the public, I'll put it out there and see if anybody comes on. But again, if you don't have a VR headset, this is it would be accessible through the mobile app or any other interface that they have out there. I don't know if there's a desktop interface or not, other than the desktop app, which is the PC VR interface that I use.
So that is my park in the state that it currently is. Very, very unfinished, but with potential. We'll see if I ever get it finished or if it's still even available. A while ago, Meta announced that they were taking down the VR side of Horizons, and then after people pushed back vocally on the internet, they kind of backtracked and said, we're going to leave the VR portion in place, but we're not really going to develop it any further. We're going to switch to the mobile side and put our efforts there, and then all of their other efforts into the headset. So thanks for joining me on this little trip into my little virtual reality park. Till next time, see you later.